FUNDA Greatness. Engage, inspire, motivate, and empower millions of children every day, supporting you, the adult, to unlock your child's full potential so that they can achieve greatness at home, school, and in life.
Your child can achieve greatness. What is greatness? What is your child's full potential? There's only one way to find out. It's okay to not follow the crowd. It's okay to be different. Who cares what others think? You only have one life. Live it. Do what others refuse to do.
Making a positive difference to children's lives every day.
Hello, Kieran here, the founder of FUNDA. Hope you're well on this cold and wet Tuesday afternoon. I don't know where you are in the world, but we're going to go live with a fantastic author who I met just last week, as a matter of fact. She's called Gail Cassidy. She's a beautiful woman. She's an author of around about 12 books. I think it's 6 books in total, in fact. And I can't wait to get Gail onto the show, talking about how to raise children's confidence and loads of tips and tricks and things like that. Before I do, I'd like to read what Gail does and kind of like go through her bio. So Gail Cassidy started her career as a high school English teacher, worked for IBM Corporation as an instructor, manager, writer, where she received the prestigious Outstanding Contribution Award for her self-paced training program that was used worldwide. How cool is that? She then worked for an international training organization as an instructor and manager of instruction. She has written over 20 books, so I got that wrong, 20 books related to education and personal development skills. How related is that? That's brilliant. Her current focus is on providing high school courses that guarantee acceptance and validation for every student. As a result of her many years of voluntary efforts in her community, she was recently inducted into her town's Hall of Fame. So I'm going to get Gail onto the show. Hi, Gail. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon for you, right?
Good afternoon, Gail. So it's good afternoon in the UK. How are you doing today? What have you been up to?
Oh, I've been waiting to talk to you. Fortunately, I don't have your book with me because I sent it to my daughter-in-law. Your book is just so phenomenal that I wanted her to get it for sure before the holidays.
Oh, cool. And I know we that got shipped out to you from Amazon, and that's all good. That's brilliant. But what about your books? I mean, I've put 6 books here, but 20 books you've created.
Most of them are, actually, I started out with Discover Your Passion because I worked for an international rescue organization, wonderful organization, but I couldn't handle it. It was death and dying and AIDS and abused children and fires. And I'd go home every night and it was on my mind constantly. So I read everything I could find on how to discover your passion. And basically, my passion is teaching. And that's what, after teaching it for 19 semesters at the local adult school, I decided to write the book. So that started me, but that was 20 years ago. And since then, I found that kids, especially kids who are at risk, and that's not kids with learning disabilities, it's kids who are at risk, are the ones that really tug at my heartstrings. To see a child sitting at a table at lunch, ignored by his friends, ostracized, that hurt. So I thought if kids had enough confidence, then they might be able to handle the situations better.
Brilliant, Gail. Brilliant. And that's the topic today. It's how to raise confident kids or confident children, how to raise their confidence and self-confidence so that they can be the best. So the children who are struggling, the children that might need a boost in confidence, and especially right now with I won't mention the C word because, to be honest with you, I try and steer away from it. But with the disrupted year we've had right now, children need to raise their confidence, and parents need all their help. And our values completely align with yours to make a positive difference to children who are really struggling. So pretty much in terms of how to raise children's confidence, I noticed from the bio of your book that raising a child is never easy. I mean, have you been a parent yourself? Have you know?
Yes, I have 2 grown children and 2 grandchildren.
Oh, lovely. And it's not easy. It's never easy. And people look at us writing books and us working and teaching children, I've noticed that once you've got your own children, it's a whole new ball game and a different challenge completely.
And no one can tell you how to raise your children. But if you have a framework and you know you stay within the framework, it's okay. Framework based on human relations, going back from the beginning of history. Some of us, or all of us, react to the same way to certain things. In other words, I would say the universal thing that we all want is happiness. Actually, I said that to a friend. He said, no, serenity. But if the ultimate goal is happiness, how do we achieve that? And so that's why I have a framework based on human relation skills.
Awesome. And hopefully we're going to share that framework when we get to that crust for that learning near the end. And you mentioned there as well, it cannot be done perfectly. I noticed that was a little mention you put on your book, that nothing's perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, I think we have different backgrounds. This is written in a way so that whatever your religious, ethnic, political, whatever your background is different. But there's still human relations. And we still, if we get hit, we're going to hurt. I use the example, if I kick 3 people in a classroom, are they all going to react the same? They're not. One's going to kick me back. One's going to leave the room and one's going to cry. So we don't know. But if you're always aware of how a human reacts, then I think you're ahead of the game. And especially with kids, you just want to hug them.
Yes, I agree with that. And any parent watching this video right now, watching this show and listening to our discussion, they're more than welcome to leave the comments below in the description. Ask any questions. The child might be struggling with confidence right now. They might have limited activities at home to entertain their children, especially children who are isolating at home right now, because let's not forget it, we're in the middle of a pandemic and children will be at home for around about 14 days in isolation here in the UK. That is, I don't know what it's like in the USA, but children are crying out for activities, resources. They get the educational materials from school around the core subjects, but I think it's so vital now to focus on children's health, well-being and personal development more than ever. What do you think, Gail, to that?
Well, that's what your book does, providing activities that any parent, you don't have to have a degree in education in order to implement what you suggest. And they're done in such fun ways. I would say in almost all of teaching, even teaching English, verbs and subjects and things that can be tedious, if there's an element of fun, kids do it. And your book is just that every activity you have, there's an element of fun there. So the kids want to do it. And they have to expend energy.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's hard when I come on a show, because lately on the FUNDA page and everything we do, because I'm so passionate about everything I do, it's always look at my book, look at what we do, look at the difference we make. But today is about you, Gail, and after your feedback that you left on Amazon, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you for your feedback, your transparent feedback. And that's why we're here, because I thought, how can I share what Gail does? Because what you do is fascinating. And if parents get these little golden nuggets from this show, that's awesome. And if they can comment below with any questions right now, what they're struggling with, hopefully we can help. But from your book, I mean, I want to really dig deeper with your book and what it is. I'm just going to get your book up here as well to show everybody, because I think it's fantastic. The book is unbelievable. And it's here: Raise Confident Kids, Enable Every Child to Feel Safe, Worthy and of Value. That's so powerful, Gail. That's so powerful. You know, if you look at them little values you've put there: feel safe, worthy and of value. That's all we want our children to be. Is that right?
It is, and this book is more for maybe say 4 to 14. The books that I've written for the high school things, I emphasize acceptance and validation. So the 3 courses, it's just acceptance. It's so important. That's what enables you to feel worthy. And if you don't feel worthy, you always question yourself. And we all question ourselves. I'm sure you do. I do. But for teens, it's very important. For little guys, it's approached in a different way. And as I mentioned the framework. The framework is very simple. One's easy, one's hard. The framework, I think of it as a big mirror, and the frame is acceptance, total acceptance for the kids. And that's not always easy, because when they're having a tantrum, but at 3 years old, they're not planning a tantrum. They're reacting to something that's within them, whether they're hungry, whether they're upset. They cannot understand that. You can't get into that till they're a little bit older. But the other part is boundaries. And that's the hard part. It's so easy to give in. I want Cocoa Puffs. I want everything in the supermarket aisle that's not good for them. When do you start the boundaries? You don't start it at 12 or 15 or 17. It's too late. They know these are the rules. And then it's much easier if you set it at the very beginning. So
Awesome, yeah.
Unconditional love and boundaries.
How lovely is this? How lovely is this? So much experience there. And again, looking at being perfect, I mean, nothing's perfect. If you see any spellings with my banners I'm flashing up, I mean, I'm dyslexic. So as I'm rushing these, I'm trying to...
I'm very impressed that you can do that. I can't do that.
Just correct me if spellings are wrong. And I think it's awesome. So the first thing in your model is acceptance, and then it's boundaries inside your book. So yeah, carry on, Gail. It sounds awesome.
Well, I use two acronyms that are very easy to remember. One is SAVE, S-A-V-E, and the other one is CLAP. The CLAP, C-L-A-P, is the how-to, but the SAVE, S, is going all the way back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He talks about the safety, survival, but then we get safety. But when we talk about safety with kids, I think it's natural that you're going to strap your child into the back of a car safely, that you're going to tell him to look left and right before he crosses the street. But there's the mental safety. How often have we used you messages? You are always so late, or you are loud, or you are disruptive, or you. To a child, you're God. And if you say I am, therefore I must be, therefore I will act that way. Yes. But if you say I messages, I don't like the way you're behaving, I don't like that you're always late, I don't, then it's a behavior. It's not them. It's a behavior that can change. My son, I always thought of him as the perfect child, but he did leave the towels on the bathroom floor all the time. My husband would go crazy. You're such a slob, blah, blah, blah. I said, drugs or towels? Drugs or towels?
Brilliant, Gail.
When he made himself say, I don't like seeing the bathroom littered with your towels. It changed. It was
brilliant. Brilliant. And just while we're on that tone there as well, Gail, I'd like to say hello to Ben Allen, who's just got, 2 children now. He's a friend of mine. I've got somebody else who's used my nickname, Class Kizzy, so they put in Facebook. But I've also got some people here with no names. I've got yogihunny, and she said that my 7-year-old recently says things like, I'm not good at anything, I'm not pretty. And it seemed to start, I'll flash this one up actually, because this is really important. My 7-year-old recently says things like, I'm not good at anything, or I'm not pretty. 7-year-old.
You have exercises in your book, I believe, where they make lists of what is good. And that's important. If they start seeing it, you can say you are pretty, and they're not going to necessarily believe it. But if you can point out little things that are pretty about them, just, I love the way you fixed your hair today, or you have such a great smile, or your eyes are so warm when you smile. Little things. It's not the overall pretty. Pretty is so difficult to define. What is pretty?
And I'm not good at is such a fixed mindset thing. So the idea really is for this yogihunny. It sounds like I'd like to know your name, yogihunny, if you could put your name in the comments. But I've got a little activity for that. If we stick on that, Gail, because I think it's important to share. Sharing's caring. And I'll leave some free activities for parents in the link below. But when you have a fixed mindset, I mean, I used to growing up, because I think my parents had a fixed mindset. I must go to work. I'm never going to be able to afford this, or I'm never going to be able to do that. When instead of changing I can't to I can, then it becomes so much powerful. So I want to share this, Gail, because what if yogihunny mummy, I'll just call her mummy for now, use this activity with the daughter. So this activity is from my book, and it's I am amazing because. So if you focus on the things that you are amazing about, so I am amazing because I have no hair. I'm proud that I have no hair, because it makes my head shine when I'm on camera like this. I'm amazing because I am me. I'm myself. And if your child is Leslie is there thinking about them things, how can we change them from having a fixed mindset to a growth mindset through repetition, through activities like this, so that your child can grow in confidence? Because that's what this topic's all about, is self-confidence. And I feel the more we say, oh, I am amazing to yourself, and build that self-confidence, the more confident we might become. Just some ideas. I don't know what you think, Gail.
Well, one lesson I learned from it is Carol Dweck, who wrote Mindset. With my grandson, and particularly the older one, I'd always say, "You're so smart." And my son said, "Ma, don't say that, because," and this is according to Carol and all the research they've done, if you say you're smart, the child will select a lesser activity the next time because he wants to hear that you are smart again, rather than saying you are smart because he accomplished something. Say, I like the process you used to reach that end. I liked the use of your time when you did that. I liked how you organized your materials beforehand. Point out what an activity, not a blanket, you are smart, or even a blanket, you are pretty, because you can't live up to that. You wake up in the morning and you're not pretty.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
I like your activity where you say, come up with the different things that make you special.
Oh, brilliant. This is so useful for parents right now. Hi, Leslie. Hope you're well. So this is so useful for parents, because obviously I'm a parent myself, and I'm worried about my boys at the minute. I'm anxious because I'm thinking they're going to get behind with their development. There's no children's classes going on over here in the UK. There's no rugby. There's no football. There's no soccer. There's no sports. Them extracurricular activities that enrich our child are not happening right now. So what can we do as parents to really help our child and inspire them and empower them to grow? And that's the message here, growing confidence. So if I get back to you, Gail, and your little, because I've dug some little things out of your book to make this, because sometimes it's often hard to discuss on camera. We're live and we're just winging this, so to speak. We're having a chat, a cup of coffee, and it's lovely to meet Gail, and hopefully I know that Gail's going to be a lifelong friend along the way as well. So here, I'll just get this one up here. So you mentioned this: children enter this world with their own personalities. I thought that was beautiful.
Yes, yeah. And we don't alter personalities, but what we do is try to have them recognize what is special. And it's not always easy. I think we're more self-critical than anything. But with the parents, and I have, again, the acronym SAVE, the safety, then acceptance. Now there's acceptance. Maybe because I was a high school teacher, and then I taught high school dropouts ages 18 to 25, the toughest, roughest group of kids I've ever met. Acceptance made the difference in whether they stayed in the class or they didn't. If I could find something special about them, they'd stay. I was told the first day, I had 35 kids, only 30 seats. And they said, don't worry, you won't even have 5 at graduation. I still had 30 at graduation, because I took the time I did case studies on the kids, take them out in the hallway to tell them what I saw was special about them. But then I told them an activity or something that they have to change.
Yes.
You know, they might have made a comment that I picked up on, or the attitude, or something that's going to hold them back. But I'd let them know what I thought was special, and then let them know how they can even be more successful in their own heads.
Yeah, beautiful. This is so valuable. Really good experience, Gail, to share your words of wisdom, I would call it, a wise owl. And, I just feel as well, I feel when I was at school, back to me, when I was at high school, I was the one or at primary school, as a matter of fact, I was the one who used to get told to stand up and complete the times table. So what's 4 times 4? What's 5 times 5? And the teacher used to rhyme this off. And I remember now, looking back at it, I know that it's all memory and remembering them that through repetition. And it doesn't mean children who know the times table are cleverer than, brainier than you. It's just remembering the thought process. And I used to get stood in the corner because and told that I couldn't do it, and used to get picked on because I weren't the brightest when it came to maths, and put on the spot. But later on in life, I've found that I'm more creative and used a different part of my brain, and I'm okay with that now. But what kind of like advice would you give for those children who really struggle academically in school? What advice would you give them?
There's something special about every child. There's no doubt about that. And going to what you just said, in 8th grade, Mr. Stricker, and I remember his name, told me that I was incapable of learning math. And I believed him. I went all through high school, never took a math course, never had algebra, geometry. Then I wanted to go to college. I tested in on probation for a year to see if I was capable. There was only one math course I had to take, and I waited until my senior year, and I had a very high average. And if this man would have failed me, he would have looked bad. So someone told me that, therefore I knew that I couldn't do it. It's very difficult to change your mindset when somebody you admire, somebody you respect tells you you're incapable. Then how are you going to do that? So that's why if you look for something special, there is something special. I was reading a story about it. A little gal who couldn't pay attention. She was fidgety all the time. And when they left the room, they looked in the window, and what she did was dance. And well, turns out she ended up being this famous ballerina, but it was finding that what it is. We don't all fit into the same bucket. That there was something in England years ago that was, Stony Brook, was it? Where they say in 1st grade, it's like a machine. You put in, this is what you learn at first, this is second, this is third. And if you miss first, you're out of line all the way through.
Yeah, that's it. And the motto is, why fit in when you're a child and you were born to stand out? And I like this discussion because it should be about, I can do anything. So like you said, that you as the role model, if you say I can't, if you say I can't afford this, if you say I can't go fishing, I can't go this, I can't do that, then you're never going to be able to do it. So instead of saying I can't, we say I can, and we be the ultimate role models for our children. And sometimes I'm guilty of it with my boys. I say, Theo, you can't do that. You can't do. And he's being disruptive. He's an active learner. He's really hyperactive. And I'm thinking, well, hold on, why can't he? Because he'll learn if he gets it wrong, and he'll learn if he falls. But when you're in that moment and you've got your other little boy shouting in the background, and it's hard sometimes to remember these little things. We're not perfect.
It is difficult though, because you go into the boundaries again. There's certain things that they really shouldn't be doing if they're going to hurt themselves. But then there's the learning curve. My youngest grandson was born with hypotonia, which means no muscle tone. So it took a long while. I had to sleep with a heart monitor because nothing worked. But now he's 8 years old and he can run, he rides a bike and so forth. But the doctor finally said, you've got to let him fall, let him climb, let him fall. Otherwise, those muscles will never develop. And boys, if I had to only have one, I love little boys. They are just so rambunctious and they can be so bad, but then you just give them a hug.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, giving them a little hug. It's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Now, I've got some little things here as well. So I've got a question here from Leslie again. I think it's a really nice question, and Leslie's really engaging with us. She's put, what is your advice on restricting technology in a world where it surrounds us? I've got lots of advice for this, but you fire ahead, Gail, with whatever you're thinking of.
I do think that there have to be restrictions. Right now, it's such a difficult time because they're learning with technology. Everything is with technology, but they also have to learn how to play. They have to go outside and run and jump and do regular activities. This is a tough time for parents. Yeah. And for kids, because now they want to watch something on screen, and they're said no. So you're taking away the good stuff, but I have to watch on screen the bad stuff, like learning that I don't want to learn.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel?
Well, pretty much with the restriction in technology, I know that we've moved forward in schools, and we used to use the abacus, we used to use the chalkboards, we used to use the inkwells, so to speak. And I don't feel that schools have moved forward at all. We now partner 90 schools here in the UK. We visit schools, and some schools are still doing the same things as what they were doing years ago in the curriculum. And the reason for that is because I think schools created industrial people to work in factories here in the UK and go on to do a factory job where you must do this, you must turn up at this time. And I think the way that schools are evolving now is using technology, moving forward, and I think in restricting it, but using it as a learning and a teaching tool rather than a distraction. So I think there's a difference between using technology for just going playing on the computer games, on crazy games that fill your head with all them endorphins of winning points, and it's all okay for a break, but how can we use them devices for teaching and learning? So how can teaching and learning take place during them? Because let's face it, entrepreneurs, we all use them technology, and we have to become better at it. Otherwise, these kids are going to way overtake us moving forward in years to come. So I feel that limit it in areas from the destructive and distractive stuff, but encourage it when children are learning through them devices. For example, you know, there's lots of fantastic activities on there. I mean, my Theo has I know I'm talking on here, Gail. My little boy has a tablet, and we let him go on it on a Friday evening. We have pizza night, and we sit there and we have a treat, and he takes part on his tablet. But we try and encourage learning games where it's counting, it's phonics, it's shapes, it's colours and things like that, rather than just playing on a game that's destructive and distractive. Because I call it like a piggy bank. If we're putting £1 in the piggy bank, are we getting £2 back? Or if you put the £1 in the piggy bank, are you losing that pound, that money? So that's just my opinion. But yeah, hope that helps. So yeah, so let's move on, Gail. It's about you, and sometimes I waffle on. That's my dyslexia ripping in again.
Well, we talked about the first acronym, that SAVE, the safety, mental safety, acceptance, validation. This was, I read an article about a young man, Mark Eklund, who was a soldier and was killed in Vietnam. His 7th grade teacher got a phone call from his parents asking her to attend his funeral. And she was very fond of this young man, but she didn't know why she was being asked. The father took her aside at the end and said when his personal effects came back, in his wallet was a piece of paper that she had given him in 7th grade. This piece of paper was, she was presenting a very difficult math concept. The kids were getting rambunctious, so she stopped it, passed out paper, and said, on the left-hand side, write down the name of every child in this class, every classmate. And on the next column, write something special about that person. He kept this all of those years. And at the funeral, a couple of his classmates said, yes, mine's in my wedding album. Mine's in my jewelry box. Mine I keep with me. That is so significant. It's the acceptance and validation of something special. So that's why it's an integral part of this book, and also the speaking course, where they have to write something positive, either about the talk, the delivery, or the impact on the audience, something good. And at the end of the semester, they all get the pages of what their classmates said. They're special in some way.
Lovely. With years of experience, Gail. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll share your book at the end here, Gail, and we'll have links to your book. I think it's an awesome book as well. So here I've got some other things that so we mentioned about your framework, which we're delving into throughout this snippets of this video. I've put that down there as well. Again, I've mentioned computer games and mobile devices, the damage that blue light's having on our children. Small moderations, doses is fine, because we're only human, and there's some great skills to be learned on that. But if we move on, I noted this from your book: a smile feels good, a frown is uncomfortable.
Yes. Well, that's a universality too. Any place where you see, and you look at somebody and you can see in their eyes, you can see right away. There's a story. I go to Barnes & Noble when it was open to write. And there's an elderly gentleman who came in every day with his cane, never spoke to anybody, ever. Looked down, went up, got the same thing, sat in the same place, left. One day, I just happened to glance up as he's walking by and caught his eye, and I smiled and said, good morning. I mean, it was such a minor thing. This man's face transformed. And from that time on, I've never spoken to him. I don't know his name, but now every time I see him, it's good morning. I mean, the transformation just by acknowledging somebody with a smile.
Yes.
It's validation.
Yes, you're absolutely spot on, Gail. It's beautiful values, and I feel as well. So I've just got a few people here. So we've got Leslie, we've got Yasmin. Hi, Yasmin. If you've got any questions, parents watching this, if you're watching this, give us a smile. First and foremost, smile. And please leave any comments below if your child is struggling with anything, if you've got any anxiety, any questions, anything you need help with. We're here to give, and we're here to share our experience to empower children's life and raise their confidence. But when you said that there, Gail, if I just remember rightly, you said about the last phrase then about, when you were talking, just to recap on that last bit of phrase, I've lost my train of thought here. What was it? You said about positivity, didn't you? About showing gratitude and about being grateful and changing it to a positive smile or something around positivity. Am I right?
Well, anything when a person's feeling good and you can see that smile, that's positive. It is definitely positive. You see the world differently. A little exercise, it's so minor, but shoulders back, head up, and smile. The carotid artery then is freer to flow to the brain, and it's a scientific, or medical. It's not my supposition, but you actually feel better. Shoulders back, head up. I did that in a class one time with nursery school teachers, and the lady said, "But doesn't chocolate do the same thing?"
Yes, that's it. That's it. And I've just got my train of thought back. You mentioned the critical skills. So we have an activity in schools of what does good communication look like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And it's the same with all the critical skills as well. What does good eye contact as well is good communication. So really asking your children, what does good communication look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Is a good way of doing that. How to respect others? What does that look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like?
Well, I have an exercise, and the first one again is SAVE, SAVE, and I can talk about the enthusiasm in a second. But then you get down to the clap. First is communication skills. 58% of the message comes from the body. There are 38% comes from the voice. Only 7% from the words. And for example, if you go home and your wife is in a bad mood, can you tell without her uttering a word? Yeah. And I have exercises, one page of things. Okay, now stand like this, stand like that, or show me sad, show me happy. We all can go right into whatever it looks like. But when you know that, then you have mastery over it. It's fun to do. For example, if you have your arms crossed, does that mean that you're blocking me? Or does it mean you're cold? Or does it mean you're comfortable? It's that combination with the face and with the tone of voice. It's what was it? Mark Twain. There was an example I used for voice. He was going to a meeting and he went to his armoire, picked out a shirt and it had a missing button, and he swore and threw it on the bed. Picked out another one, the button was in half. Swore, threw it out in the bed. Third time, he just went and swore every foul word he knew he used. What stopped him was seeing his wife standing there in the doorway. And she was just so disgusted. She walked in, repeated every word he said, which shocked him. And she looked at him and he had a smile on his face. And he said, "You've got the words right, but you don't have the music."
Wow.
Meaning, how you say something, it's good morning or good morning. Good morning. It's the voice. It's a combination of what you say, how you say it. Makes all the difference in the world.
Lovely.
It's fun to have kids do this. I have cards that you write on and tell them what emotion they're supposed to display. They get up there and display it right away, and the kids guess.
Yes, and you've got lots of fun exercises, Gail, inside your book that are enjoyable. Have you got any other examples of activities inside your book to help raise confidence and help children?
Well, with the communication one, I spend the most time on. The people skills one is CLAP. The last one is people skills. I have them memorize pictures because you remember pictures. For example, 3 C's, or see a vase with 3 C's, see a profusion of flowers, see a note there. See a cat, a Cheshire cat holding onto it. Each one represents a skill. Kids can learn this, and they can transfer that into learning the states as they were admitted into the United States, or learning a historical thing. So they're fun things to do. But this one with the people skills has a very definite. The 3 C's stands for do not criticize, condemn, or complain. The flowers, profusion of flowers, to show genuine appreciation. And there are 9 of them all told, but they're fun things to do. If it's fun, the kids will do it. If it's just pontification, they're not going to do it.
You're right. You're right. And we've got another question here from our audience. It's important to engage them, because we might just be rambling on, but I think your experience here is valuable, Gail, and we're sharing lots of positive things on how to empower children because they need it right now. But it's Leslie again. She'd be really engaged, Leslie. And at the end of this video, any parent that's engaged, we're going to leave a link to lots of activities, free activities for your children to take part in at home. I'm going to throw them up there at the end of this so that you can use them at home. But she's put, I think child's confidence also begins with the parent. Kids feel if parents are stressed or sad. She's right. Yeah. What do you think to that, Gail?
On my page, the Facebook page, Confident Kids, I had a section this summer which was called the Serenity Spa for Moms, where I had the moms think of themselves, because if the moms aren't happy, the kids are not going to be happy. It's very difficult to act how differently than you feel. So, and again, a lot of it goes back to thoughts. A lot of it goes back to the control of your thoughts, and that's very, very difficult. But change your thoughts and you change your world.
Yes.
There are habits that you have to develop in order to do it. When I go to bed at night, there's a mantra that I say over and over again, because I can go right into negativity. Anybody can.
Yes.
I can think of, I tripped on my husband's shoes last night. I was annoyed that he had all the shoes around. He always has the shoes on the floor. And if I focus on that, I'm the one who loses, because he's going to still keep his shoes on the floor.
Yes, absolutely, Gail.
Very difficult. And I think what yogihunny is saying is very true. If the parents are stressed out, the kids are going to be stressed out.
Absolutely. And I'd agree with all that. And a book that's helped my family, and something that I started reading when I had my car accident, and before I started up my business, FUNDA, what it is today, I read a book, and it's on my bookshelf over there, and it's called The Secret.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The law of attraction and thoughts become things, and it's been a real positive book in our family, because obviously if I say something negative, because sometimes I do if I'm stressed, like what Leslie says here, yogihunny, if you're stressed and you often stay to negative things, you go into a spiral, and that spirals out onto your children. You have to change your frequency and think about something positive that can be shared in the home. So she's dead right. We should have got her on the show as well.
One of the people in The Secret was Mike Dooley, and yep. I signed up for his free words every day. I get either a sentence or 2 sentences, and they're personalized because my name is in there, and they're about the thoughts. Thoughts become things, and so Mike Dooley, if you look him up, it is free, so you can get thoughts every single day that keep your mind a little bit buzzed. And I need to read that. Yeah.
And parents can watch this video back. They can get the activities resource I'm going to show at the end to help build confidence, and take them, use them, print them off, and complete them with their child and with their child. So I took something else from your book. So children live up to what they believe they can do. So that's on the topic, thoughts become things now. So I know you mentioned this, Gail. It's really important, this.
Well, Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So it's a matter of getting the thoughts changed, but you can't just do it overnight. There has to be some logic to it. In other words, going back to Carol Dweck and her mindset, it's the little things, the illustration you put up earlier about what is good about what was the main terminology you used? Oh, I'm amazing because. Amazing is such a great word, because it's not saying I'm pretty, I'm smart, I'm better than others. I'm amazing because, and boy, that you really have to focus on.
Correct, Gail. Awesome, awesome. I love picking your brains, Gail. I love picking your experience. I love delving into it as well. So again, it's on the same topic. Adults are limited or motivated by their own self-beliefs. Yes,
we are. We are limited by what we believe we can do. Oh, by the way, I remembered for Leslie, TUT.com. Go to TUT.com and sign up for Mike Dooley's free everything to do with the thoughts. Thoughts are things.
TUT.com.
TUT.com.
TUT.com. I'll try that in there. If it doesn't work, I'm sure we can follow this up in the thread after. And we're always happy at sharing other people's work and ideas as well. So that's all cool. Every child, the opportunity to be the best that they can be.
Yes, yes. Doing what you're amazing. That's the way to do it. But of course, there's limitations you have to put on kids in some way for their own safety, for what you know to be true. But when I decided I wanted to go to college, my father absolutely, he said, nice Irish girls don't run away from home. That was his recommendation, stay home. But I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I knew that probably just from playing with my neighbor, because I was always the teacher and she was always the student. She was a year younger.
Oh, bless.
Being elder, I was at a chance. It's very difficult, except for finding out what's amazing.
Yes, that's important, really important. And we've got Leslie here. You guys are great. I'll be getting both books. Awesome. That's great. We're not here to sell books. We're here to share value, share and help parents' problems, anything they're struggling with right now. Because I don't know about you, Gail, but we are experiencing everything we've got now on us. Yes, our books, but we've got thousands of resources and activities and just things that children can be doing right now, other than playing on the computers and mobile devices. So it's so important. And Yasmin, hi Yasmin, she's put very wise words. So it's lovely to get your parents' feedback. And please, if you do have any questions, I know Julia's just jumped on as well, so I'll be answering Julia's question in a second. Before we summarize and before we give some tips. So what we're going to do now moving forward, we're going to summarize everything we've discussed. We've got 5 tips coming up for parents on how to help your child's confidence and how they can boost their confidence. I've got a little activity pack that I've put together that parents can use at home to boost the child's confidence, and it goes hand in hand with everything we've discussed. Because I feel about giving is so much important in these moments in time. So I think we've got a question here, Gail. It's a long one. Julia Jackson. I find myself I'll have to peep over and look down at it because I can't just see it, but I could just about see it. I find myself behaving in ways that mirror how my parents behaved with me when I was a child. And that's not always good. What I have started doing with my 2 girls is at dinner time, I ask them what was the best thing that happened that day? What was the funniest thing? What amazed them? Just to try and put a positive frame around the events of the day. Isn't that lovely?
I think that's great, because how many times with both of my kids, I'd ask my daughter, how was your day? And she'd tell me. I asked my son, and every day it was fine. What did you do? Well, the usual. Not, I couldn't get it, but that way is a very creative way, because it's not a judgment on them. It's about happening. That makes a big difference.
Yes. No, that's
I didn't mention is listening. And I took a course on cognitive learning for teachers. And it's amazing if you're talking to somebody and you emulate them exactly and look the way they look, have their posture, maintain eye contact, and they're enwrapped. And but as soon as you change, you might lose them. But a listening skill for parents, if they can actually stop. If I go out in the mornings, and not anymore, but before COVID, I would see mothers at the table with their cell phones, and the kids are talking and they're not hearing them. If you listen to them, it makes all the difference. It makes them feel really special.
Exactly. And I love the way how Julia said about being honest, about behaving in ways that mirror how the parents behaved. And sometimes it's myself as well. I mirror my parents, and I sense that I'm being like my parents, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's in our genetics, that's in our trend, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she's right about the positive, and I've got a good activity here I'd like to share with Julia and everybody. It's about the positivity jar that I've created, and I just want to show you a quick video to watch. And it's children get a jam jar or any type of jar or a box, and they put positive words onto that sheet, and then they put at the evening and in the morning they put them kind words and positive words into the jar, and they save it up. And at the end of the week, they read them out with the parent together. So I'll just show you this one, Gail. It might be useful for some parents. 2 secs. Something so simple, Gail. A jam jar that saves it throwing in the bin. You keep it. Your child can paint it. Positive words around it. They can call it a name, and it's just that, like you say, thoughts become things.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Little activity. So to summarise, I mean, the topic today really, we tried to stick around how to raise confident kids, and you can watch this back and get all the activities. The phone's going in the office now. We've got my staff in the office, so I'm doing this live, and they probably think I'm crazy going on like this on live. But anyway, so to summarise, how would you summarise everything we've discussed? Because it's been some really golden nuggets in there, haven't they, Gail?
Overall, all of my courses that I developed, there's really, the themes are the acceptance and validation, and the rest is how to. But if a child feels special, they're going to act special, and without phoniness. It has to be sincere. Yes. The biggest learning experience for me was the 3 years I taught the high school dropouts, 18 to 25.
Yes,
coming out of jail or going into jail, and the difference was the acceptance, and they just blossomed.
Yes, absolutely. And to summarize with that, and I feel it is all boiled around to that acceptance after discussion with yourself, and being yourself, and changing I can't to I can, because that's so powerful. If I'd have had this mindset when I was trying to be a professional footballer, I might have been on telly now making lots of money, playing in the Premier League and famous. But it's took me a while to adopt that mindset, because a couple of months back I was going, I can't write a book. And then I thought, well, why can't I? I can't do a podcast. Well, why can't I? So I still have them beliefs, and children do today, Gail. So how do we get them beliefs? So we've got some tips. So what's your key 5 tips, takeaways for parents to raise confidence, change that positivity, give them activity? What's 5 tips from you, Gail? I'm putting you on the spot here, and you can put me on the spot. I don't know.
I could just go back to my acronyms, and that is use I messages rather than you messages. Make sure that there is acceptance for what they're doing, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. The validation, enthusiasm. I didn't touch on that, but you say, well, I'm not enthusiastic. Act enthusiastic, and you'll be enthusiastic. And be aware of communication, the body language, the voice, the intonation, and the actual words that you use. That would be 5.
Awesome. I don't know. I'm lost for words. But the 5 things I'd take away with parents right now, especially in the current times, is time. I mean, I've been guilty of it lately, working in the business to try and reach out and empower more children, and often struggle to find time to spend with my own children at the minute. So that's one thing I'd give parents. Is it's nothing to buy time to spend with children. I know we're all busy working. But even if it takes just 10 minutes on a Saturday to do an activity, that's great. I think positivity, thoughts become things, is the ultimate tip, because if we're negative all the time, you'll find that you're stuck in traffic. If you're stuck in traffic, then you've had a bad day. If you've had a bad day, you carry that home. So it's about changing that mindset to be more positive. And I probably as well, the tip number 3 would be to get active. So I'll probably get out, get active, have some fun. Get active at home in your own front room. The weather is cold right now, but how can you get active as a family in your own front room and bring that positivity out there in your front room? And I think finally, I'd say read and learn. So never stop learning. Learn. because it's not you never win. You can always learn. You can always win, and you can always learn. You just keep on learning. So I've put this little boosting confidence activity pack together, Gail, for people, and I'm sure that you'll share your link to your website, and I'll put that up there in the thread so everybody can view it. I'll send that out to our email list. I think we've got 10,000 plus parents now on our email list, so it's really nice to engage with more parents. And if you've got any struggles, anybody's got any questions, we can answer them at the end of this video. But I put this little activity pack together, and I want to share a couple of activities that will help boost your child's confidence. So we've got Gail's book, for one, that'll help raise confident kids. I think it's an awesome book. I think this is a nice activity here as well. So listing things that you are good at. So these will be in the thread below, but what are you good at? So you can write it, you can draw it, because some children, like Gail said, are visual learners. Now, can you help others with your talent? So helping others sometimes raises your own confidence. Like what we're doing now. If we're giving out loads of value and we get a lovely comment like this, you guys are great, I'll get both your books. That raises our confidence, Gail. I don't know about you.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so that's just a little fun activity to do, and that'll be in the bottom. So I've got a couple. So I've got this one. What are the new things you'd like to try? What are the new things you'd like to try? Write or draw in the shapes below, so children can write the new things. Because again, if we're experiencing something new, that'll give your child a newfound confidence because they've experienced and learned something new, and it adds to their toolbox. I've got this one. This is me. So acceptance. Gail said all about acceptance. You can draw yourself. It's got my ears on this one, but you can draw yourself and be happy with who you are and how you look. Especially the big one with girls at the minute, especially teenage girls, is accepting their beautiful self. This is me. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. So there's quotes there. I'll throw a quote in, and then put "I am amazing because." So there's them activities there, Gail, that we're going to share, and I'll share yours.
Last one in particular, that is so significant.
This last one here.
Yes, yeah.
Just want to share with parents as much as we can. So if there's any questions, people can ask some questions now, and we'll give some last words from Gail. But it's I know Gail's in the USA, so I think it's like 11 a.m. over in the USA, if I'm right now, something like that.
Yep, 10:57.
10:57. Look at that. So it's lovely, and we're aiming to. I don't know what it is over here in the UK, but I will be honest with parents right now in the UK, even my parents. We struggle here in the UK because a lot of parents have, and they might shout at me for this, they have a fixed mindset. So they really, some parents, not all, some parents here in the UK have a fixed mindset. And I think it's just the traditional British way, and it goes back to our parents and our parents before that. So how can we shift our mindset and move forward? So other than that, Gail, have you got anything to add at all, Gail?
I'd just say times have changed. People have changed. When I was little, it was be seen and not heard at the dinner table. Everything changes. But the one thing that does not change is human nature. Human nature. It's awesome, Gail, and it's been lovely to speak to you. And we've just spent some time, and we've connected. And I know that you got the FUNDA Greatness book. I'll throw that one in there. And that's how we got connected. Some pictures there with your book. You got it off Amazon, and I didn't even know it was on a mastermind podcast that you popped up. And I was like, "Who's this girl in America? Got my book?" And I was like, over the moon. I was absolutely over the moon. So, is there any questions from parents? Let's have a look here. We've got Leslie. Thank you, Kieran and Gail, for the words of wisdom for our youth. Very much appreciated. Thanks, Leslie. Lovely. Helping others is so underrated. And this is Harry. Yes, helping others. So good when you do. That's a little thing that you do for others, and it feels good. You benefit. Yes.
Because Gail got my book off Amazon, left a fantastic review, and that night, I think I was dancing around the front room naked. I wasn't really, but I was really happy and chuffed. So just little things. I mean, for example, here at the office, at FUNDA office, Dan's been working all morning. We've had the motto of always value our most current customers here at FUNDA, Gail. So just another good way of helping others. We're going to send out a Christmas card to all our top 100 FUNDA-loving customers. They're all going to get a Christmas card. We've got all the labels boxed up. And also our top schools are getting a copy of our FUNDA Greatness book and a Christmas card with a nice letter just to say we understand it's challenging times right now. We're here to help, and please use this book. And helping others is really important, really important. I think Harry's laughing about me dancing around the front room naked. Sorry about that, Gil. I put bad images in your head right now. Ooh, what have I said? But no. But absolutely lovely, Gail. I'll leave the link to your book in the bio, and we'll connect again. If parents watch this back, you have any questions, myself and Gail will jump on here. I'll share Gail's Facebook group, website. Gail's an experienced teacher and somebody who you should really reach out to and know. So check her work out. So if there's no other questions, I'd like to say thanks to Gail for joining us.
Thank you.
I hope you have I hope you stay safe, healthy, and well, Gail.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'll speak soon, Gail.
Okay, take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye. So that was Gail. Absolutely brilliant. That's just one of our podcasts, and I hope that it helps you parents and teachers and home educators out there to get empowered and support your children. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the link below. We'll be going live during our podcast every week. Thanks, Harry. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Julia, for your lovely comments. Any teacher who've got any comments, any parents who've got any comments about your child's development, about how we can empower your child and make a difference, please leave a comment below this thread. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. And yeah, let us have your feedback. So I'm going to leave you with just this little video that I'd like you to watch, because I think it's really inspiring what we're trying to do and achieve here. So I'll catch you soon. Goodbye.